Somewhere beyond the edge of our solar system, farther than any human hand has ever reached, Voyager to remain silent, gliding through the void between stars. But what it just sent back isn't just a different measurement or an echoing signal into faraway space. It is a picture, a final image. Furthermore, what that image showed was so unanticipated, so well organized, and out of place in the infinite randomness of the cosmos that shockwaves were sent through the deepest corners of the scientific community. A geometric anomaly, intelligent-looking, disturbingly intentional, and not accidental, captured by a probe powered by plutonium and guided by instructions entered decades ago. However, how can it be that this machine, older than the modern internet itself, has now taken on the role of something that might not come easily at all? Was Voyager defollowed? Did it cross into a region where physics itself acts differently? Or has it stumbled upon something that was never meant to be viewed? This is not an accident. This is a mathematical warning sign, encoded in the end, woven in light frames from the voyage of Voyager 2. And if you believe that nothing exists in the universe, think again. In 1977, when Voyager 2 launched, it brought humanity's greatest optimistic gesture, a golden disc filled with music, greetings, and sounds of Earth, a time capsule destined for anyone or anything. That was the message, or so we thought. But nearly 50 years later, what Voyager 2 has brought back with hints at something additionally chilling was the response. The image found in the final data burst of Voyager was not supposed to be possible, not with its broken cameras, not from this far away. However, when using a quantum AI system for analysis, designed to look for invisible patterns, it showed a structure to the naked eye. Neither a planet, nor a star, plasma, or dust, but a lattice precise, symmetrical, and persistent across numerous frames. It's a particular order that defies randomness and whispers of design. But here's the worst part, it remained constant in relation to the spacecraft, as if orbiting it or monitoring it. NASA scientists were quick to rule out hardware malfunction. There was no anomaly captured by only one camera. It was present in numerous instruments, layered across different wavelengths and time intervals. The layout of the structure demonstrated Fibonacci ratios that repeated, and a signature with prime number spacings so mathematically precise that one physicist described it as the universe directing a coded glare at us. But structures like this don't exist in deep space, particularly those that do not appear to adapt. That is correct. When sensors on Voyager actively scanned, the anomaly changed slightly, as if responding to being observed. This behavior is reminiscent of the observer effect in quantum mechanics, but not at the level of an atom. This was kilometers wide. How can a structure react to observation unless it's aware? And if it's aware, it might not be natural. It might be artificial, or worse, it might be alive. To understand what Voyager 2 might have confronted, we must accept an unsettling truth. The edge of our solar system isn't just a boundary of plasma and particles. It's a phase-change region where the very fabric of space begins to mutate. Quantum mechanics and gravity theorists suggest spacetime beyond the heliopause could allow phenomena we've never modeled. It's the cosmic twilight zone, where the rules written in Einstein's language begin to blur and transform into quantum languages. The structure captured by Voyager fits no known interstellar model of matter. It does not reflect light but emits particular frequencies. It disrupts magnetic activity but casts no shadow and fields. It might not be part of our dimension at all. Some suggest what Voyager saw could be a projection, a higher dimensional object intersecting with our reality. In simpler terms, a shadow from another universe. Now, utilizing a machine we constructed in the 1970s, when technology was less advanced than a cutting-edge calculator, the shape was just one factor. When quantum AI parsed the data, it discovered something buried deep in the anomaly's transmission patterns, sequences. Not just any sequences, but prime numbers, Fibonacci spirals, and geometric symmetries that mirror the exact mathematical language used on the Voyager Golden Record. The patterns lined up with Earth's attempt to define universal Matha Rosetta Stone for alien minds. But here's the terrifying twist: the response wasn't just similar, it was mirroring. It appeared as if something not only received our message, but comprehended it and responded with a structure encoding the same language. Only detectable by the very AI we just developed not decades ago, not 5 years ago, but now, as if something out there were waiting for us to get smart enough to take it in. While the public was offered vague assertions regarding unusual data artifacts, something completely different was taking place behind the closed conference rooms of NASA. Leaked internal emails revealed that top-level scientists were instructed not to speak to the press about the image or the patterns within it that were mirrored. Rapid changes in the protocols for communication followed. Quantum labs for computers and encryption surged. Why? Because the consequences were too destabilizing for physics as well as for religion, science, and geopolitics itself. One anonymous systems engineer described the internal atmosphere as like a warning about the Cold War, aside from fear of not only destruction but also contact. Because if the image from Voyager was genuinely a response, it indicated that the experiment had ended. The signal came from us, and then something replied, and now it is too late to change it. As the news filtered through unofficial channels, the scientific community began to split. Traditionalists on one side insisted the structure could be explained by an identified prior lensing or the formation of interstellar dust effects, but others, especially those in quantum field and theoretical physics modeling, weren't convinced. Several papers initially uploaded to Arxiv and bafflingly removed within hours asserted that the predictions matched behaviors of artificially generated quaternary fields. In layman's terms, fields manipulated by design rather than by nature. These theorists made the case that Voyager had reached a restricted area of space in which data itself could be rearranged, shaped, or even encoded visually. An expert in physics compared the image to a glyph, something between a command and a symbol. After that, the unthinkable idea emerged: what if this was not merely a response? What if it was an invitation? Despite this, Voyager's magnetometers, significantly exceeding their expected lifespan, began to produce data that defied understanding. The magnetic field in the area near the object pulsed not randomly, but in timed, regular, dependable intervals, like a lighthouse, like a heartbeat. These pulses had no terrestrial explanation and were not related to galactic or solar activity turbulence. More disturbingly, the intervals between each pulse formed a Fibonacci progression, matching the same sequences seen in the structure of the object. For decades, we've looked for evidence of alien life in radio waves and the atmospheres of exoplanets. However, what Voyager may have just discovered is something far more advanced. A civilization or force that manipulates the environment as a whole, leaving not radio or wreckage behind, but pattern, knowing only the intelligent would notice it. And we just did. A terrifying development emerged as the investigation progressed. Thought began to take shape not in science journals or public meetings, but among physicists, signal analysts, and AI researchers. What if Voyager's image wasn't of an object? Suppose it was a reflection not figuratively, but literally, a responsive and dynamic space distortion, turning like a mirror toward us at the exact moment we looked deeply. Voyager, according to some, hadn't snatched something brand new, but had triggered something dormant. A mechanism, a field, a sentient surveillance system that, weighing down invisible to the rest of our equipment, finally breached the correct boundary not to be criticized or welcomed, but simply to be seen. And now, with Voyager silently entering the darkness, leaving behind an image that should not exist, we may have crossed a threshold we were never intended to cross, one where the observers become the observed. For nearly half a century, Voyager drifted silently through the void, carrying a species' hopes too young to understand what it was truly asking. We embedded our music, our math, our heartbeat, turned into a disk of gold, and hurled it into the unknown, believing that maybe someday someone would find it. However, deep down, we never truly believed they'd answer. Until now, the final image Voyager captured is more than just a snapshot. It's a rupture, a quiet tear in our knowledge of what lies beyond, a logical, geometric echo of our own, reflected back at us in forms too precise, far too planned to be random. It is neither a planet nor a star, gas, dust, or comet. It's something else, something that waits and thinks, that resembles, and worst of all, something that seems to understand us. We once believed we were sending our message into the void. However, Voyager's final act may have confirmed the most ancient fear in every myth, in every religion, in every staring eye that has ever gazed upwards at the sky. We were never alone, in neither this galaxy nor this dimension, even if we keep silent. And now, with a single image captured by a dying machine, that silence has been broken. The sky is no longer quiet because something just blinked. If this revelation shook you, if it made you question everything we thought we knew regarding solitude, time, and space, then do not leave in silence. Subscribe to this network. We adhere to the transmissions that others fear to acknowledge. Activate notifications because Voyager's final message may not be its last. Send this video to someone who still believes the universe is empty. Comment below. Was it a reply or a test?